Welcome back, everybody, to our weekly energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. My name is bryndis, and I'm here to guide you through the energies that are coming in here for next week. Week 14, that is the 30th March until the 5th of April. Actually, this week only until the 4th of April. There's a big shift that is coming in towards the end of next week, and I want to cover this in next week's energy update. All right, so what do we do here in this weekly empath? We talk about those things that are hard to explain to others or doctors or therapists even. The things that are affecting us, but where we can't really put a finger on, okay? And so for an energy healer like myself, you know, it's easy to read this out and to communicate this with you. So this is what I do in these weekly energy updates. For years, I've been doing this for my clients, and now for a couple of years publicly here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and also in our empath forum at transCODES.com. All right, so last week, if you've watched the video that I posted last week, or even the one that I posted yesterday, it was called Finding My Medicine. We talked about the deeper aspects of being and how they have been formed. You know, a lot of that has to do with us actually seeing us in conjunction with others, you know, with our family, with all the things that have influenced us, perhaps also that have traumatized us. So last week was a lot of deep trauma healing, and here at transCODES, we're still in the middle of this. We have energy healing and training sessions going on almost every day. It's like a gym. We have these classes that people can join. So this is not a set group. It's people from all over the world that just want to go deeper into these specific areas, okay? And we're in the middle of a really, really deep collective and personal healing and redemption process, okay? So those of you in the Grace Redemption Marathon right now, hi guys, I feel you. So next week is a new kind of energy that is coming in. It will feel a little less tense, less intense, less pressurized from within. Many of you had a bit of a hard time here these last couple of weeks, and so physically we will also feel less symptoms. So it was very heady. A lot of people had migraines. A lot of people had issues with their hair, with their skin, you know, things in the nervous system that have been bugging you. And so this next week will be perceived as less intense, okay? The truth, though, is we're actually moving into a deeper level of our own healing process. And so it isn't just enough to see some of the things that have shaped us, that have created our problems. We also have to take our own medicine now, okay? So taking our own medicine, of course, always comes in with, okay, we got to walk the talk. That's one aspect of that. But it's more so in regards to how do we actually shift our perspective? How do we shift our view of the world, the view of others? And here I'd like to talk about the collective unconscious and how all these things are reflecting in our society, in our collective right now, okay? You see a lot of people being very verbal, very expressive about their discontent, about, you know, how the system or the matrix or their narcissistic spouse or their, you know, whatever jobs are exploiting them or taking advantage of them. And this is one of the typical empath problems. All right, as empath, guys, and just to give you a heads up here why this keeps being a problem for you. You know, you have this innate issue with differentiating your own needs and your own emotions from those of the ones around you. And so you orient yourself by what you feel around you, okay? You go by what they reflect back to you. But that's also the problem, because it kind of distracts you from, you know, who you truly are, what you truly feel, what you truly need, how you truly want it. And so many of us end up being in relationships and jobs or in places where we find ourselves somehow taken advantage of or somehow misplaced. And that's because we never really actually asked ourselves what it is that we are, and that we want to bring into expression, that we want to embody. Okay. Now, when it comes to accepting things as normal, or accepting certain behaviors, and you know, how other people treat us, here I've asked you guys to go into a little more sort of no-nonsense kind of place last week. And this week, the energies are supporting this more common sense type of thinking. Okay, so there are certain things that are never okay, guys. You know, checking out, numbing, you know, fantasizing, escaping from things is never okay. It doesn't matter whether you're an empath or a narcissist, for that matter. You know, anything that leads to you not fully being present with what it is that you want to bring out, you know, leads to your energy being hijacked. And in conjunction with other people, this often leads to you just being sort of a pushover, or you being pulled into something that isn't true to you. So the big self-coaching question here for this next week, guys, is what I focus on, what I put energy into, or what I allow myself to get distracted by, does this really matter to me? Is this really me? Many of you experience this with relationships right now, where you realize, you know, I keep attracting these same kind of experiences, the same kind of people into my life. Why is that? Well, I want to clarify this for you. There is a part in you that projects something out. It projects out sort of how you want to see others. And one of the cool things about being energetically sensitive is that your projection power is a little stronger, it's a little more powerful than other people's. But a lot of times we don't even know what we're projecting out. And so the only way to tell is really by what kind of people do you attract in due to what you project out. Okay, so it's not to say that it's your fault if you run into these issues with other people. No, but you gotta make sure that what it is that you present to the world is true to you. You know, if you are presenting, say, the know-it-all, or if you're presenting, oh, no big deal, you know, if you're presenting the rescuer and fixer, if you're presenting, you know, those are all sort of archetypal roles that we take on. We call those false self. And some of them have a good reason. You know, many of us have had situations in life where we had to protect our core self a little bit, okay? But this was at times where you couldn't quite, you know, present it in a way that it would have been more authentic. So as you mature, as you grow in consciousness, you will find that these incongruencies, as I call them, you know, where what you present to the outside world and how you feel from the inside don't match up, that these backlash to you, okay? And it's very difficult to go into this place without the awareness that the whole world is doing this. You know, the whole world is full of resentful providers, of power-obsessed people, of goody two-shoes, of pleasers and conformers, of rebels. Those are all just labels. I want you to really learn and embrace who you truly are, because this is what we need for this paradigm shift that is going on to really tune into. And I found something on one of your guys' Facebook pages today that I want to share with you. It's such a wonderful witness of something that I have been predicting for 20 years, and you guys probably been feeling this for that long already. But it is something that, you know, I call new paradigm. It's really a new way of seeing life and operating life with different values. Consciousness is the new sexy, inner peace is the new success, and kindness is the new beautiful. I love this. Thank you, Justin, for sharing this on your Facebook page. Okay, this really, really, you know, increased sort of my own motivation. So speaking of social media, then, And what I've talked about, you know, common sense and the backlash is, if you get stuck in this constant, you know, bickering and complaining about how the world is so bad and how other people just taking advantage of you and blah, 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 and all this does is really just energizing powerlessness. And the reason why the collective or the society is this way is because we make ourselves powerless. I talked about this in length in the energy tips from last week, you know, where your power is your choice. Okay, you don't have to participate in this. And seeing pictures like this tells me that we are finally getting into this critical mass where this is starting to become mainstream awareness. Okay, we cannot really live or continue to live and treat ourselves and the planet and other people based on dog eats dog. There's no day after tomorrow, based on I don't have to live up to consequences, I don't have to be accountable for anything. We cannot do this anymore. This is hitting us really hard right now. There are generations that are coming, you know, after us, obviously, our children, grandchildren, and so forth, who have to resolve huge problems that we leave here. Okay, and checking out is not how this supports these generations. So to see ourselves in this intergenerational chain, or I prefer to see it actually as a Mobius strip or as a circle where we become sort of the upgraded version of our past generations, and where our awareness that comes from the past, all the trauma that was experienced in the past, where that allows us to place ourselves here by taking on the things that are wise and that allow us to make better choices than previous generations, and by letting go of the things that have unconsciously conditioned us and that have pulled us into accepting certain things as normal that really aren't or shouldn't be normal for us. Okay, and so it's this allowing the past to be the past, but to also learn from it, and then to look into the future with it, into our own future, but also into our children's future and the legacy, the footprint that we leave behind. And so when it comes to social media, guys, I want to give you another big tip for next week, and that is stop posting all this commiseration about how bad everything is and this bickering. Instead, send your friends, you know, uplifting messages, encourage them, tell them that you've always seen the potential in them and that you trust in them becoming able to embody that, to embody what they can do, whatever the timeline is. Okay, just think of how long it took you, or you know, you probably still in the middle of that process yourself. But sending each other messages that help to encourage a person is what we all need to do for ourselves as well. This is the medicine, okay? We need to see how far we've come, and we need to remind ourselves that all our past experiences were there to help us, were there to teach us, were there to give us the foundation to make better choices. So next week is all in the sense of making wiser choices now. And this is a good week to make choices, because there's a breakthrough energy that comes in with these approaching April energies. We just have to really put in the effort that it takes. So you have to catch yourself when you go into this sort of self-defeating, self-judging, oh my God, I can't do this, oh my God, this is so hard type of mode, and cut that off. And say to yourself, all right, this is rough. Okay, this is no nonsense. You acknowledge the way it is. But I can do this. I've handled much worse things. And you going through a rough time? I hear you. I feel you. Let's do this together. We can do this. Okay? We have the medicine. We have the power to heal these things and to excel through them in us. Let's motivate each other, guys. And I'm not talking just, you know, spreading the message of the love and light will heal it all. Although, as I've mentioned before, there is truth in this. It's actually true, but it's different from how we think it is. So it's not enough to just understand our ego and then think that we have already healed it. Okay, so there's a few more steps that come with this. As a weekly perk here, I'm giving away 2 tickets for one of these ongoing energy sessions that we have here at transCODES. And this week's giveaway will be the Karmic Family Clearing, which fits beautifully into everything that I just mentioned for you. It has to do with recognizing the medicine of our ancestors, but also simultaneously being willing to let go of the things that do not matter for us, or that we've already transcended, or that we've already outgrown. This is an art form, okay? And we know that these intergenerational aspects get inherited throughout 7 generations. So it's a 7-generation cycle, 250 years, something like that. And so, there are things that we are dealing with that stem back from 200 years ago within our sort of genetic lineage. Now, as far as our energetic lineage is concerned, it's more complex. It's actually all recorded. And some of you may know this. Science is actually now confirming that we have this epigenetic connection with another, and also that there are things that are stored in our DNA that they had no clue before. So trauma, for instance, gets stored in our DNA, if you believe it or not. And so this can be inherited to the next generation. So I'm not saying that we have to resolve everything for what our parents or grandparents and so forth couldn't resolve. I mean, we'll feel it, but not all of it is part of our karmic task here. I'm not saying that we have to resolve everything for our future generations. I'm saying that we have to find our place here, okay, and see what our potential is, what we are presenting here in the bigger picture. And yes, we can make sure that some of the things from the past don't get further inherited to our children. For many of you on your self-discovery journey, that was or is a major shifting point, because you may not yet feel enough self-love to do this just for yourself, but when it comes to our children, we often feel more motivated to do this. So yeah, go there. Go there. If you can see things that have been repeating throughout generations in your family, have the intention to be the generation that breaks through that cycle, so it doesn't just get passed on to your children. Okay, so in the Karmic Family Clearing transmission, we teach how to do this. There's trained energy coaches on the other end. They scan your energy, help you with interpreting things, and reflect this back to you in the empath form. And that's something I really want to recommend to all of you to check in, with all these free tools, resources, sessions. We just had 2 free healing sessions here, the monthly remote prayer and the monthly connect with your true self sessions. Phenomenal sessions. It's so wonderful to see this. I actually reflected a bit on this when I started 7 years ago with the free true self sessions, how many obstacles I had to go through, and how many fears I had to really grow into this sort of public energy healer persona, and where this has led me today, where I offer over 40 different specific energy healing modalities, entire programs and courses, how to learn energy work, how to integrate energy work in other professions, how to do trauma healing and so forth. This is such a beautiful community that has formed from this, that it reinforces what I said to you earlier. So if you want to win a ticket, type in the comments, I want to connect with my ancestors' medicine. The first 2 of you will receive a free ticket for the Sunday session. So use this time now, reconnect with yourself. Do walking meditations, do your personal, or develop your personal healing rituals as I suggested last week. This will help you to maintain at least to your best abilities and intentions, a more balanced and more grounded stance here in the midst of all the stuff that's going on around us. I have to go off and record the detailed energy tips for the Heart Warriors. Those are people that work with us directly, and the Patreon channel supporters. You guys receive an extra video as every week, and there I'm going to go deeper into what negative emotions that we hold in, what they cause in our body, physical symptoms based on repressed or withheld emotions. And I'm also going to talk a little more about the false self and the ego, and how just knowing what it does isn't quite doing it yet. Okay, so our medicine is more complex than that. We also have to learn how to let go and how to not pull it back in. Okay, and that said, I'm wishing you a wonderful week. Next week, use this healing energy. After that, it gets less deep, a bit more sort of external. Okay, so there's a bit more collective stuff that's coming in by the end of next week. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to like this video and to share it. Okay, and I see you next week. Bye-bye.